Welcome to Animal Voice 11. Explore 14 fascinating, borderline unbelievable animal brains. Subscribe now for captivating content. Enjoy this video. Crows might be as smart as primates. If you've ever been unsettled while walking through a park because you caught the piercing black eye of an idling corvid, the bird family to which crows, ravens, and their ilk belong, you are right to be wary. Leeches have 32 brains. The internal structure of the average leech is divided into 32 equal segments. Each of those segments has its own brain. Technically, each segment has one ganglia, a structure containing a number of nerve cells, that belongs to one 32-segment structure, but the distinction is moot in practice. Spiders have brains in their feet. There are several members of the spider species that house their brains in their heads. However, as spiders tend to decrease in size, their brain size actually increases proportionately to the point that the tiniest members of the species have the evolutionary problem of trying to cram an oversized brain into a space that's simply too small. Giant squids have a donut-shaped brain. In spite of the fact that a giant squid can reach up to 1,500 pounds, their brains only clock in at about 0.2 pounds. Even stranger, those brains are wrapped around the giant squid's esophagus. Tree shrews have the highest brain-to-body mass ratio of any mammal. Though it's not always accurate, a lot of scientists still put a lot of faith in measuring intelligence by the ratio of brain mass to body mass. By that token, humans are actually fifth in the pecking order of intelligence. The mammal that scores the highest? The tree shrew. Sea squirts eat their own brains. When it first pops out of its egg, the sea squirt looks surprisingly like a tadpole. It swims through the water, using its brain to figure out the complexities of swimming, until it finds a suitable spot to plant. Cockatoos can solve complex puzzles. In 2013, a team of scientists concocted a plan to have cockatoos decipher a series of interlocking devices, each of which jammed the next lock along in order to retrieve a nut. And to the scientists' surprise, the cockatoo actually succeeded. A sperm whale uses its head and brain as a battering ram. At an average of about 16 pounds, sperm whales have the largest brain of any living mammal. That might sound like a lot, but when you consider sperm whales can get up to 63 tons, it's not super impressive. Dolphins have a more complicated neocortex than humans. It should come as no surprise that several scholars wonder whether dolphins are actually smarter than humans. The reasoning behind this is the dolphin's amazing brain, which can be as complex as that of a human. Male three-spined stickleback fish have a bigger brain than the female of the species. Native to Iceland, the three-spined stickleback is a one-of-a-kind species. One thing that makes it really unique: the male of the species have a much larger brain than the female. Woodpeckers have air pockets in their skull to protect their brain. Have you ever wondered why woodpeckers aren't doing serious damage to their brains when they spend most of their day literally beating their heads against a tree? A really thick, sponge-like skull. That's how. One insect brain fungus can revive dead ants. Scientists speculate the poor Campanatini carpenter ants have been the victim of a vicious, zombifying fungus known as the Ophiocordyceps parasitic fungus for almost 50 million years. This wasp's nervous system is the smallest in the world. The Megaphragma mimeripen is a species of wasp. Don't be fooled by the mega in its name, though. At just 1/5 of a millimeter in length, Megaphragma mimeripen is actually smaller than an amoeba, and it's not even the smallest insect on record. The brain of the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel is too big for its skull. The next time you need an argument,